Welcome back to the YouTube channel. And for today's video, I'm talking about my top 10 comic book runs of all time. And I thought this would be a great way to get to know me for my first ever YouTube video. And I've also got this question asked a lot. I thought what's a better way than to do a full-length video on it. So let's get started with my top 10 comics. Start out with, we got my first honorable mention, which is Transformers by Daniel Warren Johnson and Mike Spicer. This is only not in my top 10 because I've not finished this run. I'm only on volume 2. This is volume 3. I think there's 4 volumes. Haven't got around to it yet. But Daniel Warren Johnson is one of the best comic book writers of all time. Mike Spicer is one of the best colorists of all time. So when this duo gets on a book, you already know it's going to be peak. This is the only one I've read from both of them so far. But I've read some of the individual stuff without each other, and I loved it. So I'm very excited to say this is in the top 10. If you do like Transformers, you'll love this. I wasn't a big Transformers fan until I read this. It makes you really care about what actually happens to the characters, rather than some books where it just you already know. But this book, I did cry a little bit during this book. So for my honorable mention 2, we got TNT by Jason Aaron. I finished this book legit yesterday, and it's already almost in my top 10. When the second trade comes out, I think it will be in my top 10. This book was just so good. The way they do it, where each issue is drawn by a different artist. So at the start, it starts with Raphael and Michelangelo, and then I think Leo, and then Donatello's next, and then Casey, and they all join. So it's really cool to see what happened to each character through their whole story, and the art in this book, even though it's different artists, it's incredible. Each artist puts their own spin on it and makes it look so good. Yeah, this book is one of the best, and I think it's still ongoing. So please check this out. It's probably my favorite book on the shelf right now. In my last honorable mention, we got Blue Beetle Scare War. This book would probably just like Transformers being top 10 if I finished the run. I've not been able to find volume 2 of this, but this book is so good. It's written by Josh Trujillo. Hope I ain't saying that wrong. It's written by him, and the way I think they understand Blue Beetle more than anyone who's ever written the character. This volume 2 and Graduation Day. I've not read Graduation Day, but I feel like if I read that too, it would also be in the top 10. Now, to start my top 10 list is Plastic, coming out of Image Comics. I'm telling you right now, though, this is a book for more mature audiences. It's really good, but I would recommend if you're not, it's probably not for you if you're not over the age of 17. It does talk about a lot of sexual stuff, but other than that, it's really good. It's a revenge story about a dude who gets his doll taken away from him. They steal it, and he has to fight these corrupt cops to get his doll back. And the ending is legit so shocking. I was so shocked reading this. It always had you on your toes during the book, which is really crazy to me because it's legit about a doll who gets stolen, which you would not care about. But this book makes you feel for the dude who gets his doll taken. Next, my number 9 book in this list, Flash Year 1 by Joshua Williamson. I've not read his run, but this is the only book I've read so far of his run, and it's legit one of my favorite books. As you can tell, it's in my top 10. The Flash is my second favorite character of all time, my favorite DC character, and I just feel like Joshua Williamson is one of the writers that understand him the most. This story is really good. It's about basically his future self comes back to, like, I don't remember exactly, but I think he warns him on the trouble that's happened in the city, and he helps save the whole city, which is really cool to me. Next, probably the most popular book in my list is Batman The Long Halloween by Jeff Loven's himself. This book is my second favorite Batman book, probably the greatest Batman book story ever told, and it's definitely the best in main continuity. But yeah, Jeff Loeb and Tim Sawyer is one of the best duos of all time. I think they were a little bit ahead of Mike Spicer and D-Dubs for me. But Batman in this story is hunting a serial killer, basically, who takes on the government, like higher ups in the city of Gotham, and yeah. But like I said, Tim Sale's art is amazing. I'll go ahead and show y'all some. But yeah, this book is probably one of the greatest books of all time. It's such a good story. Uh, yeah, if you're a Batman fan, you have to read this. If you're not a Batman fan, you still have to read it. I feel like everyone in the lifetime should read this book, even if you're a comic book fan or not a comic book fan. You should still read this once in your lifetime. Now, my 7th book is a very controversial book, but I got Batman Damned coming out of the DC Black Label line, written by Brian Azzarello and Lee Bremajo, I think is his name. I know I'm saying that wrong, but I don't know how else to say it. But this book is basically about Batman's going against the troubles of Gotham after the Joker's death. And yes, you just fight, which is really rude for him, but this book has some of the best art, in my opinion. Lee's art really reminds me of Alex Ross. I'll show you some of that. It reminds me a lot of Alex Ross. And when I said this book was controversial, it's because if you ever seen the uncensored one of this, it kind of showed some stuff, which should not be in comic books, especially DC comic books. But yeah, that's why it's very controversial. I feel like a lot of people don't give it a tough try because of that fact that happened, but I still think you guys should give it a try. It's my favorite Batman book, but it's not in main continuity, so my 6th favorite book of all time, Ultimate Spider-Man from 2022. This series actually just ended. I'm not caught up though. I've read volume 1 and 2, but this book is out of main continuity. It's basically Spider-Man's a 38-year-old man, and he's married to MJ and has kids, which is, if you read Spider-Man or know of Spider-Man, it's very weird because he's normally a teen. But this is set in the Ultimate Universe, which is a line of comic books outside of main continuity. In this different universe, they have this, Black Panther, the Ultimates, and Ultimate X-Men. This is probably the best one in that line, though Ultimate X-Men is a close second. But just the whole story, and I feel like out of continuity Spider-Man is so fun to read because he still goes by the same roles as mainline, but it's just fun to see him in this different concept. My 5th favorite book of all time. This one's also coming from Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. Superman for All Seasons. If you've ever seen any of my TikToks, you know I've said this a lot. You know I was a Superman hater until I read this one book. This book is what made me a Superman fan. Superman's probably in my top 10 characters of all time now because of this book. And for my first ever quote in my videos, I used a quote from this book. I feel like this book is really what we need right now in the world we live in. It's a really good book that kind of shows the pain people go through. It's really sick to me. Once again, not Jeff Loeb, Tim Sale's art in this is so good. Try to get a better view of this. Tim Sale's art is so good. I feel like this puts it over everyone else because this is main continuity, but this book is just so good. Like I said, it's what made me a Superman fan. If you're not a Superman fan, just like I was, read this. If you are a Superman fan, read this. It's another one of those books that I feel like everyone in a lot of time, comic book fan, non-comic book fan, should read. Next, my 4th favorite book of all time is, not to get confused with my number 6 book of all time, but Ultimate Spider-Man. But this is from 2000, from Brian Michael Bendis and Mark Bagley. This book is really good. Also not set in continuity, but this book is it's not different from, as in the new Ultimate Universe where he's married, has kids, and is old. This is just normal old Peter Parker, but just in a different universe. Same origin, everything. But this book is what gets me. I've heard most people have gotten into comic books because of this book, and it definitely helped me get into comics. Not the book that got me in comics, but it definitely helped me read more recently for that. And plus, they're just now reprinting these in these epic collections, which is really sick because they was printing them in omnibuses. But the omnibuses, I think volume 2, maybe volume 3 were on print. So now they're reprinting them in these, which is really sick. But yeah, Mark Bagley, Michael Bendis, really good duo too. The villains in this book is also really crazy. I've seen some of the images of them. They're like really insane characters. And issue 13 is my favorite comic book issue of all time. It's when basically Peter Parker is telling MJ who Spider-Man is, and it was really fun issue in this run. My third favorite book of all time, City Boy. I know most of you guys probably haven't heard of this because he's an underrated character. He's only in this, I think, one other issue ever. I think DC should bring him back, honestly. He's a really sick character. If you ever read Swamp Thing, he's the opposite of Swamp Thing. As in, Swamp Thing controls the green, which is like the grass, nature, and all that. And City Boy controls the cities. He can go through the city, everything. And even in this book, he meets up with Swamp Thing, which was really cool. You even see faces like Nightwing, Superman in this title. This was my favorite book for a while until I read these last two books. But yeah, City Boy is such a good character and a book. Y'all should check this out. That's all I have to say about City Boy. And my number 2 book of all time, which is my favorite character of all time, Spider-Man. If you can't tell, I love Spider-Man, as you can see, because I got 4 books of his. But Spider-Man is my favorite character of all time, and I truly believe Todd McFarlane has the best art style for Spider-Man, the best design and everything. This book is so good to me. I even bought the first issue, which is like $30. I bought that just because this book, like I said, Todd McFarlane, it has the best design of Spider-Man of all time. But yeah, his design is so sick. This book, I know a lot of people don't like this because the 90s rotten is kind of weird, but the story, I know a lot of people don't like the story, but I didn't mind. I didn't think the story was bad. The art definitely is better than the story though, but it's still such a good read. If you're a Spider-Man fan, you've got to check this out. It's so good. This epic collection, I think it ran me like $20. No, I got this gifted, but it will run you like $20 on Amazon right now. I think it's on sale. But yeah, Spider-Man this is probably the best Spider-Man book I've ever read. But I haven't read too much Spider-Man, but this is definitely the best. And last but not least, my favorite book of all time. It's an indie title written by Rick Remender and Brian Posehn. And Brett Parson, I think, is the artist on this. Grommets. This book is my favorite book of all time. It's severely underrated. I don't hear anyone talking about it. But this book is basically about a bunch of teens, I think in the 80s or 90s, who skateboard. And it's basically just them going through the troubles of partying, finding girls, going through bullying and all this other stuff. And it's just such a good story. If you skate or like skateboarding, you'll feel this book. I know a lot of people who don't skateboard or don't like skateboarding have read this and said they loved it. This book, honestly, I think this book changed my perspective on life a little bit. I know it's kind of weird to say that about a comic book, but it definitely helped me in the way I think now, and just how this book unfolds is so good. It's a 7-issue miniseries, so it'll only take you probably an hour to read, but it's such a good book. I can't say enough, but yeah, this book is honestly probably the greatest piece of fiction I've ever seen. Yeah. But that's my top 10 comic books of all time for me. Drop yours down below in the comments if you want to. I don't think I got much more to say, but if you guys do want me to do my top 10 manga of all time, since I'm a manga fan, I can do that for y'all too. I've not read too much manga, but I definitely read probably 40 or 50 titles, so I can give you top 10. I'm gonna try and upload it on here probably once a week or twice a week. But yeah, that's my top 10 comics books of all time. I hope y'all liked the video. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.